Hey Steppers, I just wanted to talk to you real briefly today about steps 6 and 7. I love the language of step 6, and I refer to it all the time. It says, entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. They could have written anything they wanted. Remember, they wrote the program, and they wrote the word all on purpose. They could have wrote several or some or a few or three. They could have given it a definitive number, but they said all. The only limitations to God's ability to heal us are the limitations we're putting on God's ability to heal us. Our faith falls short, but He has the capacity to remove them all. Now, the language is important. The words are important. That's what recovery is. It's a group of words, and they're words set up in a way that we can understand them and believe them. And with step 6, it's all about willingness. The word remove is an interesting word. I always think of it like the garbage in our house. You know, we get garbage in, usually a garbage can in our bathroom, a garbage can in our kitchen. We take it from there and we put it in our front yard or down a garbage chute. And then a company comes, or the city comes, or the county comes, and they collect the garbage. They bring it to a transfer station. From there it goes to a landfill. So it's removed from our kitchen. It's removed from our front yard. It's removed to a transfer station, then removed to a landfill. And in a landfill, they cover it all up and it creates methane and they generate electricity. So they're taking something bad and creating something good. So from bad energy, it comes good energy. Now, as far as the steps go, a lot of people say I use semantics. That's using the same word but using it differently in different applications or different understandings. Here is no different. Let's take the word obsession, right? Everybody says, oh yeah, addicts or alcoholics or, compulsive gamblers, they're all obsessive. Now, if you use the word obsessive, that's damaging. It's harmful. But if you use the word commitment, obsessive and commitment define very much the same. What makes the difference between are you obsessed or are you committed? Well, here's the barometer. If you're hurting yourself and others, you're obsessed. If you're helping yourself and others, you're committed. I get obsessed to get high or use drugs or get off or whatever it is. And I'm committed to finish school or to my marriage or to whatever. The difference is, am I helping myself and others or am I hurting myself and others? And that's what makes the difference. Now, compulsion is the same thing. Compulsion, decision, obsession, commitment. For every word that you could use that describes you negatively, for example, a defect of character, they love to use the 7 deadly sins. In some recovery circles, that's pride, anger, gluttony, greed, envy, lust, and sloth. For every one of those, it could be interpreted to mean something beneficial to the character. That's when God takes that which is weak in us, and when we put it in God's hands, He's the great transformer. He turns it into something great, just like the garbage becoming energy. Here, we take those characteristics that used to kill us, we give them to God, and He transforms them or removes them into something that benefits the world at large. So what used to be obsession is now commitment. What used to be compulsion is now decision. What used to be sloth is now relaxation. What used to be envy could be admiration. So every one of them can be interpreted in a way that becomes beneficial to us. So God just transforms. He takes what's already there, which we may understand as bad, and makes it something good. Now, we have to be willing to allow Him to do that. And that means the responsibility, again, falls on us. God doesn't come down out of heaven and put a staff in the ground and say, oh, you're cured. No. He wants us to develop character, to develop strength, and therefore the work is incumbent upon us. It's incumbent upon us to make the effort, to desire it, to hunger and thirst after righteousness just because it's right. And that's when our character really takes an overhaul. And people around us will begin to become convinced that we're actually on the path, that we're actually taking the action, and they'll see a radical change in our personality for sure. And we develop this character that is the nucleus of everything we do. So we have to be willing. Now in step 7, we have to be humble to allow this process to take place. And shortcomings are where we fall short. Where do I fall short of actually letting God do his work in me? And that's when I have to take a good long look in the mirror and ask for help. And there's a prayer associated with it. It says, God, I offer all of myself to thee, the good and the bad. Take from me now every single defect in my character that stands in the way. There's the shortcoming. That stands in the way of my usefulness to thee and to my fellows. Be with me now as I go from here to do thy bidding. And when I develop that kind of humility of actually allowing God to work through me and understanding that he will, knowing that God will work through me, that I am an instrument in his hands. And when I approach my life with that paradigm, that I'm a child of God, that he has the ability to heal me, and that if I allow that process to take place, he will use me as an instrument. He will work through me to touch his other children, to touch his other sons and daughters, to be a catalyst for change in other people's lives, to succor the needy and to provide hope to those who are hopeless. It is amazing when I am used in that capacity, knowing that God is using me specifically for that. It's a serendipity takes place, an alignment of God, myself, and another human being. That's the pattern in step 5. God, myself, and other people. And when I keep that hierarchy correct, God connects with me, I recognize that connection, and then I use that energy and that power to serve others. It's an amazing feeling when you have the correct beliefs and you're doing the work specifically because you love God. I love him, and I want to serve him. I don't want to serve the other team anymore. I don't want to hurt myself and hurt other people. I want to help myself and help other people. Therefore, I get my priorities straight, and I realize that when I love God and I allow him to love me, then I can love others. It has to be that way. I can't give what I don't have. If I don't love myself, I can't share that love. So here I recognize who I am as a son of God, and I love him. And because I am his creation, I can love myself, and it's not narcissistic. It's not selfish, It's in a way that helps other people. And I'll close with this. Recently I took a flight. And when I got on the plane, I was listening to the stewardess go through all the protocols on the runway, in the event of, I remember this specifically, in the event that there's a loss of cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will deploy from the tray above your seat. You've seen it before, and an oxygen mask, and this is, what astonished me was, she said, securely place the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then look to see if there's someone you can help. I have to give myself oxygen, so I'm breathing, in order to help somebody else. And that's the way it is here. I have to first allow God to save me, and then I'm in a capacity to testify that he will save you as well, and I'll help you to do that. Does that make sense? I hope it does. To me, it's perfectly clear. I know that it takes a certain amount of humility. Now, some people say, humility, it means that you turn into Mother Teresa and you turn into a carpet and everybody walks all over you. No, the highest form of humility is when you recognize who you are and what you are and live true to that. I'm not a doormat. God didn't give me intelligence to be stupid. He gave me intelligence so I could ponder and think about ways I could serve others and help them. And sometimes the truth, it's really painful to tell people the truth. I told the newcomer just yesterday on the phone, I told the newcomer, you're so full of shit. You don't even know you're full of shit. Now that's an insulting statement, but he needed a little wake-up call, because he really started to believe some of the stuff that was going on in his head that wasn't even true. So it's because I love myself and I love him enough to tell him the truth. I don't want to try to make him feel better. I want him to access the source of feeling better. That's what we do here. That's what I do. And it's working for me. And as a consequence, I feel very productive. I feel very useful. I feel very needed. Because the world is drowning in immorality. And it's time for us to take a stand for morality, for right, just because it's right. Anyway, I hope I didn't lecture too much. I really feel passionately about this information, and I want to share it with you. Now, what you do with it is your business, but I can tell you that it is in fact true. Willingness and humility are key. Recognizing who we are, really what we are, is key to helping others. If I'm sick, all I'm going to do is get other people sick. I'm going to spread my virus to everybody else. I have to be well. I have to feel well. I have to be well legitimately in order to help other people feel well and be well. And the only way out is through radical change. God bless, my friends. Talk to you soon.